This is what you get when we start recording
God.
short clips for YouTube.
God.
Sorry, had some technical difficulties here. This is our second take on this one. This week we're talking about the new Ryan Coogler movie, Sinners. Now, we said that we were going to go see this movie. We went and saw it. We'll give you guys some takes on this, and then we'll let you know when there's a spoiler point in this podcast. So, if you're not unfamiliar, this movie is starring Michael B. Jordan.
Nice.
And directed by Ryan Coogler. Also starring Haley Steinfeld and Delroy Lindo. Man, Delroy in this movie is awesome.
He's good. He's always good.
So, yeah. So the boys went out and watched it this weekend, and we haven't talked about it. I think the guys liked it. Joe, Mark, what do you guys think?
Go, Mark.
When's the last time we've gotten a original vampire movie? Original vampire story. Joe, Greg, when?
Jeez.
I don't even know.
You know, I'm sure we covered it at some point in our last YouTube short where we gave our top 5 vampire movies. Some of those were probably some originals, but if we look at the time period as to when they were released, this isn't something that's very, very frequently revisited.
Do you have a...
It's been...
Okay, you got an answer?
It's been near a decade. I'll just say that. Since like maybe 2014, 2016. This story was perfect. It was perfect. It was the perfect amount of storytelling and story building. Even I'll go as far as world building. 1932 Mississippi.
Fair.
It was beautiful. Obviously, you know that there's going to be vampires, and like we'll get to that point when we're talking about the actual story. Dude, this one nailed it. Like, it's so refreshing to watch something that you haven't really seen before. It has influences, obviously, like anything new does, but it does it so tasteful. And the music that is in this movie, just, I could chef's kiss it. I could Gordon Ramsay stamp it and put it on the Hell's Kitchen menu. This thing was beautiful, man.
I'd go a step further and say, when have we had an original movie like this? This is completely written and directed by Coogler. It's not based on anything. It's not a comic book. It's not a novel. He wrote this. This is what we want out of movies. I think this is what we want. We want original stories in a landscape that is littered with IP, from superheroes to franchises to, adaptations and all that stuff. This is not that. And I think it's really refreshing. It was really, really good. It was really good.
I have to say, and get ready for Joe to get upset.
Here we go.
Oh, brother.
I love this movie.
Oh, okay.
I love it. It's great. It's currently sitting at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane. This movie had the largest box office opening of an original title since 2019's Us. So
That tracks.
that says something. It's got buzz around it. But here's what I'm going to say about it. This is now my new favorite vampire musical.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. That's an annoying take. Jesus.
Whoa. Annoying take.
We know how Joe feels about musicals.
They suck.
I would be cautious on calling this a musical. There's like 2 or 3 music numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and
maybe 2.
But what's a musical? What are music numbers? Like, what does that mean?
They got dance moves.
A number is like, it's like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, and
we can talk about that scene. That dude, that is a generational fucking.
We're going to talk about it on spoilers. We have to wait for spoilers.
100%.
Look, this is I was a little nervous for Michael B. here, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, you did mention that.
I'm not a huge. I really like him. I want him to do good. I want him to be good. And sometimes he's good, and then other times it's just he's very like, it's really hard to describe, but I feel like he is trying to act in some roles. And other roles, I'm like, oh, he's like embodying this character. Like when I watch Creed, I'm like, he's really good in this. I know it's Michael B. Jordan, but he is distilling this character, and it seems like he's acting. And then in some of the other performances, even in that same franchise, it's like he's Michael B. Jordan trying to do something else, and it doesn't always work. And I think that he did a really good job in this. He plays twins, which is challenging, and I thought they did a great job. I thought he was really good. And the supporting cast is really good.
Nailed it.
He did.
Nailed it.
Joe, you said on the episode before we went and saw this movie that Michael B. Jordan needed a win. Did he get it?
I mean, I think so. It seems like this is tracking for box office success, which is great. I think this movie cost $90 million to make, and it's on pace to at least hit about $50 million by the end of this weekend, which is kind of crazy. That doesn't seem like a lot of money, given how much money some of these movies make now, but that just shows you that people want to see, they are used to seeing IP stuff. I think this got a lot of buzz, and I think that ultimately this is going to be a successful movie from a financial standpoint, because it is going to go to streaming and people are going to rent it and all that stuff. So yeah, I think he did. I really do think that he did a great job.
We finally got something that didn't play with the viewers, the watchers. The commercials were spot on. They told you exactly what was going to happen. They showed you who was going to be in the movie. They kind of set the tone of where it takes place, early 30s. Yep. They didn't play around, and a lot of these I don't know what you would call them, management or whatever, these PR freaking companies, they're like pushing movies now to make you think that it's something when it's not. And that happened recently with a horror movie that was supposed to be a horror movie. It was portrayed like a horror movie, and then people went to go see it, and it wasn't. Oh, the lady outside or some shit. The lady in the chair.
Oh, outside. She's got like it was shroud over her.
With the yes, that was portrayed as a horror movie in the commercials. People went to go see it, and they were super disappointed because it was actually a really sad take on. Oh, I don't know, because I saw it was apparently a really sad take, and people were sad and they were disappointed. And I'm so glad that we got for the first time in a long time, a real refreshing movie. This was great.
I think we need to get to spoilers, guys, because I have comments on that, Mark.
We've got a little bit of an interesting thing happening right now where we've got actors kind of doing double duty. We've got Pattinson and Mickey 17 doing double duty. Yeah. We've got De Niro in Alto Nights doing double duty. And now we've got Michael B. Jordan doing double duty.
Interesting. I saw Alto Nights. It sucked. And I
De Niro doesn't do a lot of good stuff.
He hasn't in a while. I like Mickey 17 though. I thought it was good. Bong Joon-ho directed. It's good. Guys, we got to spoil because I can't. I don't know what else to say in non-spoilers.
Joe's like bursting at the seams.
He's ready.
What's the point?
If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want spoilers, don't watch this part.
Yeah, pause the movie, go watch it. Pause the podcast, go watch it, come back.
If you don't care about the spoilers, you're cool. And in all honesty, you kind of already know a little bit about what's going to happen. There aren't any real scorching hot takes or twists and turns that aren't kind of already expected. So I don't think that we could spoil a whole lot. It's not going to be like the end of The Usual Suspects or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, are we in spoiler zone here?
Yeah, spoilers.
Okay, I got like 5 things.
All right, go.
First of all, this movie is not about vampires. It doesn't even need them. I'll be honest. I was so into the first hour that I didn't. I really like what Coogler is doing, and he's done it in his other movies. Other than Fruitvale Station, I think he did it in both Black Panther movies, and he's doing it in this movie. He takes a very, very popular idea, and he can layer into it some real cultural things that he is trying to message to the audience. He's very much into culture. This movie is about the blues. It is about the African-American experience in the Jim Crow South. It is about cultures that have been oppressed and whether or not they see each other and can commingle. There are so many themes here. It's never hitting you over the head with them. but they are there if you want them to be. And if you don't, and you're just like, hey, I'm just into this vampire thing, then that's there too. But man, I almost would want to see him do something like this without the pop culture stuff. Just take the vampires out. Give me the sharecropping experience, because it was I couldn't think of another movie like it, honestly.
I think that I got one that I'm going to bring up that reminds me a lot of this. But what I was going to say is Michael B. Jordan just carries the movie. He's so charismatic, and I mean, obviously we get him twice, but every time he's on screen, his dialect and the one-liners, it is awesome. It's great. The movie's funny. It's got good action. This movie reminded me so much of Dusk Till Dawn.
Sure, it's definitely pulling from that, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because Dusk Till Dawn, and we talked about it recently, you watch the first half of the movie and you think it's like a crime movie, like a cops and robber kind of escape movie. And then they throw in vampires. They do a flip switch on you.
Yeah.
Which is, there's other movies that have done it, but that's what this is.
Yeah, and even the scene when the movie kind of switches to the vampire side of it, and there's the occupants of the club are in the club and the vampires are on the outside. That's like very From Dusk Till Dawn. Like they're waiting for them. That's like From Dusk Till Dawn for sure.
I got a hard moment from this movie.
Okay.
Do you have one in mind for this, Joe?
I've got a couple.
Okay. I got, my hard moment was, there's a moment in the movie where they don't explain all the vampire lore. We just kind of, if you've seen vampire movies and you know anything about vampires, they kind of follow the same rules. Vampires need to be invited inside a house, and they're trying to get inside this bar that the brothers have opened up, and they're not letting them in. They kind of have an idea that they're vampires, and one of the ladies inside there, she's freaking out and she's had enough, and she screams from the inside, "Come in." I was like, oh.
It was hard, but she fucked everybody over.
She kind of did.
Because if they just wait until daylight and don't invite them in, and there's different times where the vampires are on the outside and the inhabitants of the club can talk through the doorway because they're safe. But she ruins that, basically. Not great.
Yeah, there was an incredibly smart balance of like tug of war that you kind of see in a lot of vampire movies. It's one of the big tropes. Let me in, whatever. The way that they wrote the dialogue for it, it wasn't cheesy. It was funny. It was it had you on a string, but at the same time, you knew that they weren't going to let people in. Like during the whole conversation where Cornbread, I think that's his name, right? Cornbread.
Yeah.
He's at the door, and then everyone's like, he's like, hey, let me in. And there's like 8 people at the door, and they're like, why are you asking to come in?
Right.
Like, you've been in and out all day.
Right.
Why now? And there's like a 5-minute conversation of them going back and forth, and it's so smart. It's so funny. And they really played that trope well. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I think so. We kind of glossed over some of the early stuff, but basically Michael B. Jordan plays these two brothers, Smoke and Stack. Smoke is the more like business-like leader, stoic one. Stack is kind of the outgoing people person, and we learn through kind of dialogue and exposition that they are veterans of the First World War. They have moved to Chicago at one point recently, doing somewhat. It seems like they're in some sort of criminal enterprising. They have gathered some funds, and they have come back to their hometown, and they want to open this juke joint. And they have a little cousin, this kid they call Preacher Boy. His name is Sam. He is like a really talented Delta blues slide guitar player. And so they're the first 45 minutes or so of this movie is like the brothers are back in town, and they're kind of like lining up the cast who is going to be helping them at this juke joint. I
loved that. I loved the gathering the team together.
Yeah, it was like the Chinese grocers, getting them, involved in helping paint the signs and work the bar. Smoke's former wife, girlfriend,
love interest.
She's going to cook the food. And so that kind of leads up to this incredible performance scene. That's a one-shot scene that's shot on a Steadicam, and it's basically this kid played by this actor Miles Caton. It's his first role. He learned to play slide guitar for this movie, and he like gets an opportunity to play this song on stage at this juke joint. And have you guys ever seen that famous picture? I think it's called the Sugar Shack. It's a very famous African American painting, and it is literally, look it up. It is literally what this movie felt like to me in the like, it looked like he looked at that and was like, this is part of what I want to portray. And when you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So when Sam is playing, he's playing this song, and this was one of these scenes where like it may not work for everybody. It worked for me. It does take you out of the movie for a second, but it makes sense because there's a voiceover at the beginning of the movie that basically says, some people can play music that like pierces the veil between life and death. And so you get the feeling that that's what's happening here. And throughout this performance, you see all of the cultural impacts that this music and other music has had on everything, basically like modern life through music. And you see like a Parliament funkadelic guitarist, you see a DJ, you see the Chinese opera from the Chinese perspective for like the Chinese grocers, you see those characters, and they're all playing this music and dancing, and it's like pretty unbelievable. It worked for me, but I could see people being like, that totally took me out of the movie. That's why I think this works, because it's like, well, this is a vampire movie. And then that brings us to the point that the vampires hear this and they are attracted to this talent that is being portrayed. And we got to talk about the head vampire played by Jack O'Connell. And I also want to talk about the whole Irish thing, because that was a big deal. Do you guys have any thoughts?
Go on. I thought that music scene is probably one of the cooler scenes of the entire movie.
It's super cool.
It was rad.
It reminded me of two scenes that I've seen recently in movies. The first is Killers of the Flower Moon. Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a long movie.
It's very long. Greg, do you remember the scene when the main character's, the Native American woman, her mother dies?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Similar.
Okay.
Yes.
In this scene, I think it's an incredible scene. This woman dies, and you don't know that she is dead because the movie continues, and she like closes her eyes and she opens her eyes, and she is like gets out of bed and she sees her ancestors and her family members, and she just like walks off with them. And that is like you as the audience realizing, oh, this is her going to her afterlife. Her spirit is leaving her body, which I thought was incredible. The end of Iron Claw. I don't know if you guys saw Iron Claw.
I did not see that one.
Okay, you both need to see it. You both love wrestling. There's a scene there that's very similar where the Von Erich family is very tragic, had a lot of their brothers die. And there's a scene where when one of them dies, the movie continues on and he goes and meets his brothers like on a lake. And it's really touching and moving, and it's woven into the movie. And it's like, it's really risky. It's like, this may not work, but if it's done right, it does. And this reminded me a lot of that, where it's like, it's transcendent, it's outside of the movie, but it's still in the framework of the movie. And I thought it was just really well done. Really, really cool.
I think this is a once, I shed a tear. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This is a once in a lifetime, like generational scene.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you talked about in the beginning, Joe, how, we're talking about the experience that they had, in the 30s. And I feel like it's not forgotten, but I feel a lot of people don't know right now in our current generation that those early blues transcended music to what we have now. And it's forgotten.
The music it is everything that we listen to is that. Whether it's rock and roll,
bounce music,
rap, jazz, hip hop, even, I mean, rock and roll, and I consider everything under rock, like folk, Americana, straight up rock, metal, hardcore, punk, all of that. It's everything comes out of that Delta blues time. And there's Robert Johnson's a really famous, like, influential Delta blues musician. He's like probably the most famous one. He came out of the Delta blues, Mississippi Delta, and he moved to Chicago, as did Buddy Guy. We got to talk about Buddy Guy later too. Buddy Guy's in this fucking movie. Buddy fucking Guy is in this movie as a character. which like I was like, is this buddy, is he in this movie? He has dialogue in this movie. It blew my mind. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, man. The shot at the end, like, so
you guys
like you
stayed through
said,
the credits,
the vampires here. Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the shot, so in the same scene, in the music scene, the visual of the corn mill,
Yeah.
just, that's my hard moment. The corn mill, it's just they're just playing on the floor or like on the ground. It's on fire.
Yeah.
You can just see through. There's no building structure.
Very artsy.
Super.
Dude, that was so bad.
It was awesome.
I feel like I haven't seen something like that in a film.
It was awesome, man.
And then you have the vampires walking to, like, the shots. That scene was just done so perfect, man. That, I think that's a huge home run.
Yeah, well, and then
it was cool.
Go ahead, Greg.
The music reminded me a lot of another musician, Lightning Hopkins.
Sure.
You ever listen to him? Yeah, reminded me a lot of that, and it's in a good way. It's. I
mean, all that Delta blues, Buddy Guy, Robert Johnson, Robert Cray, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, all those guys, Taj Mahal, all those guys. It all comes from this. I think we got to talk about the vampires now, because Jack O'Connell plays the lead vampire, and he almost steals the movie. He's incredible.
Almost.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Great in this movie. I loved him.
He's so
good. He's so charismatic.
Have you guys seen him in anything?
I haven't.
He looks like he could be a lot of people.
He's been in a lot of stuff. If you haven't seen him in anything and you're looking for another movie where you want to see him in something, check out this movie called Starred Up, Starred. It's a British prison movie, and he plays the lead guy who's in prison. It's fucking awesome, super intense.
I guess he was in 28 Days Later as well.
Well, he's going to be in 28 Years Later. He's going to be in the new one.
Huge.
Yeah. So I think we got to talk about, like, he kind of appears, he bites two other people, and they become this, and we're kind of glossing over some stuff, but they become this like group of three musicians that come to the juke joint, and they're like, hey, we play music too. We're Irish. Well, he's Irish. They're not, but he's like, let us in. We'd love to come in and play. He has a banjo. The woman has a fiddle. The guy has an acoustic guitar. They play a song, and they don't get invited in at that point. But once, and I don't even want to go into like too much of the plot with the Haley Steinfeld character and all that, although it's interesting, but I think we got to talk about this Irish connection. Once they start gathering people that they have turned, they play this, like, they're like out in the field playing this song. I don't know if you guys know the song. My family's Irish. I listen to Irish music all the time. I love it. The Dubliners, the Chieftains, all that stuff. They play Rocky Road to Dublin, which I know all the words to that song. And they're playing that as like, and everybody, all the vampires, all the bitten vampires are like singing and dancing. It's fucking nuts. It was an awesome scene. But it's interesting how he kept saying, like, your people and my people have been oppressed and they're taking advantage of you. And why can't we all be friends together? Like, why we're all one people and all that stuff. And there is an interesting connection where these are like marginalized communities, oppressed communities. Obviously in the American South, slavery and the, shockwaves and repercussions of slavery we're still dealing with. But at that time, especially, you have Jim Crow and the sharecropping and all that stuff. And for centuries, you've had the Irish being put down by the British Empire and have been enslaved, and they've been pushed off their land, and they've been dealt with famine. So like that connection that he's trying to make in order to get them to let him in, where he's like, hey, I share this. I share similar life experiences with you. That was a really interesting part of that as well. And I read a couple interviews that Coogler was like, I really wanted to emphasize that in this movie, which, again, like a layer that he didn't have to have. It works without that, but he puts that in and it just makes it so much more rich. He's really like an unbelievable director. I can't believe he's like 40 years old. He's young. He really has the opportunity to continue to like just the sky's the limit. He's unbelievable. I was just so impressed with this movie.
Coogler's great at telling those kind of stories, and that's kind of what he's done in his previous movies.
Yeah, I mean, dude, think about Black Panther
focuses
2.
in on that.
Like Wakanda,
Yep.
Wakanda Forever. The what's the Submariners people? They're indigenous people, right? And it's played by a Mexican actor, and they played up the Mexican side of that. And his whole thing was like, I want this to be representative. Yes, it's a fake character in a comic book movie, but I'm going to make this like he's like an Aztec king. And that like cultural significance that he wants to bring to these roles, bring to his movies and put in these roles, he just doesn't have to do that. And it's really, really cool when he does. It's obviously something that's very important to him, and it makes these movies so much better.
Works.
Yeah.
It works. And I feel like it is important for him to put these, you know, these pieces in, because it's something that we need to talk about, right?
For sure.
We need to talk about the blues. We need to talk about Delta guitarists. Like these are all important things, and why not throw it in a vampire movie? Like, why not make it interesting? You know, why not make it have a little bit of pizzazz, if you would say?
Yeah. Well, it's got more substance to it. It's not just a vampire movie.
Well,
it's not just a hey, this is, we've seen this movie before. We've seen so many vampire like carbon copies of each other. This is not that.
Yeah.
Granted, it did feel a little bit like Dusk Till Dawn, but it's got so much more substance than Dusk Till Dawn did.
It's just missing Salma Hayek.
Guys,
but we had Haley Steinfeld.
And the singer girl. Amazing.
Yeah, she's so bad. She's so bad.
Yeah. The first half of this movie is like, there are parts that are like, I mean, they're real, but they are very like, he's not like sugarcoating this. Like the sharecropping lifestyle sucks.
And them driving down it, and just like he's like, I forgot which guy it was, but he's like, oh yeah, I know all of them. Like he's passing them, you know, they're picking
the
away.
Cotton, like they live in these shacks, like it's terrible. The whole thing with the plantation money, I thought was super interesting.
That was Delroy's character, and his character's name in this was Delta Slim.
Yeah, he talks about a lynching that he observed. I think the whole plantation money was like such a, again, doesn't have to be in this movie, but they make it a point to be like, this is like a construct. So during this time, there was like a I don't know, semi-informal bartering system where within sharecropping communities and old plantations, there would be like it was not US dollars, but there was like a form of currency that was passed. And they used that in this movie. And that is like, if you look at the social impact of that, what that is it's unbelievable that this was like part of our history, but like that is the continuing perpetuation of keeping African American people in their place, because you're not building generational wealth. You're not, you know, putting any money to your name, because this is fake fucking money. And they make a point to like talk about like one of the brothers,
the wooden nickels.
Exactly. He's like, this doesn't mean anything. And then the other brother, the people person's like, it's okay. Like, you know, they're good for it. They'll come back. And he's like, no, we're not helping them by letting them use this money, because it's not real money. You can't go anywhere with this. You can only go to the general store on the plantation. Like, that's it. It's just all that stuff, those little nuances that I feel like Coogler did not have to include. And I think the fact that he wrote this means that he was allowed to put anything he wanted in it. Pretty fucking awesome.
Gives it more substance.
Yeah.
All right. So this movie, what do you rate this?
Hold on. We got to talk about the end.
Oh, here. I was like,
we got to talk about the end.
We need it. Can we circle back to how they bought the corn mill? You know, they gave the money to this guy, you know, that sold them it. Some white guy pulls up. This is kind of the beginning of the movie that sets it all up. They buy this corn mill. At the end of the movie, turns out
he's a Klan, and they're coming back to kill everybody. And the only person who's left alive, spoilers, is Smoke, who is the tougher brother.
What y'all think about the main vampire's death?
Great.
And like the hive mind.
Oh, yeah.
The hive mind aspect.
That was a new take on it. I like that. That was cool. And they explained it very well.
Yeah. But also, Smoke is like, I want to die. Everybody's dead. My brother's dead. My wife's dead. how can I die? And so he's like, all right, well, I'll just shoot it out. And that was fucking hard. That whole scene was great.
That was
Great
badass,
scene.
dude.
The movie could have ended before that,
Yeah.
and we would have been
for
fine.
sure.
But then they bring that in, and we see Smoke just wreck all these clan members
Great
with
stuff.
military guns.
Great stuff.
And awesome. And then the movie could have ended after that, and it doesn't. So stay after the
No, it
credits.
doesn't.
Stay after the
because
credits.
You
There's
get
2 end credits.
You get like 10 more
There's
minutes,
multiples.
really.
Yep.
And you get in the they flash forward to the 1990s, and you see this old guy who, I don't know if you guys are blues music fans. I am. I was like, that's fucking Buddy Guy, who is like a famous blues guitarist. He's a guy who grew up in the Delta, moved to Chicago. So like it kind of charts his life a little bit. And I didn't.
He's at Paralyzed.
Yeah, I didn't.
Which was the.
Yeah, he's got like these scars on his face, which came from the head vampire who scarred him, the kid. So you're like, this is Preacher Boy. And it turns out that we don't actually see Michael B. Jordan. We don't actually see Smoke kill his brother because his brother has been turned. So we don't really know what happens to them. It turns out they show us that they get away, and they show up at the club, that a nightclub that Buddy Guy, that Preacher Boy is playing in. And they're like, hey, my brother told me it's Haley Steinfeld and Stack. And he's like, my brother said, you know, he would keep me alive. He would let me live my life as a vampire if I don't touch you and let you go about your life's journey. He's like, but you look like,
and he sniffs him.
Sniffs him. He's like, you're getting old, basically. Like your time's near. Do you want me to turn you so that you can like live out you can be alive for hundreds of years? And Preacher Boy's like, no, I'm good. And then they kind of reminisce, and he plays on the old steel guitar, and then they leave. And it was like, damn.
Beautiful.
I can't believe Buddy Guy was in this. That's like, if this movie was about rock and roll instead of the blues, and they like got Eddie Van Halen or something. It's pretty fucking awesome. Like, pretty impressive.
Dude, that scene was so perfect,
It
man.
made the movie
Everything
for me,
about
honestly.
it so damn good. Because there's a huge I'm not trying to go too long here, boys, but there's a line with the vampires. You know, Stack, right? Stack gets turned pretty early. Smoke and him are tight. They're super tight. There's a point where Smoke kills his lover when she's about to turn.
Yeah.
And they're like visibly, she's been bitten. They made a promise that if she turns, or if she was going to turn, that Smoke needs to kill her. So she can go be with their son or daughter that, you know, didn't make it through a miscarriage. When he kills her, because he's like, okay, all right, we made a deal, kills her. The way Smoke reacts, the way like the other vampires reacts, that was so cool. Because they're like, no, they're like, why would you do that? Stop.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel a little empathy for them, like, oh shit, well, I guess she could have lived forever.
Right.
And I guess, you know, Smoke could have also lived forever. I thought that was so cool, man. It's just like those small touches that it's not, these vampires are smart. They have a reason. There's a point to turning people. And I feel like it's just, you just don't.
Did you feel like?
Did
you ever feel like that he was trying, like earnest, like he was being?
I think he was.
I kind of do too.
I think he was being genuine about it.
I think so too, Mark.
Like, yeah, they like kind of like how you talked about them being oppressed. He really, I think that he didn't care about color, because I thought in the beginning of the movie they were like only going to kill the African American people.
Right.
No, they turned everybody. It didn't matter.
Right.
And then when one of them died, the lover, they were like, well, shit, why would you do that? And it was like a super earnest moment in the movie that I was like, well, shit, yeah, I guess.
He's like, this is better.
Maybe they did care.
This life is better. And I mean, what does sinners mean to you? The title. To me, it meant that this is just everybody's sins. We're all just people.
Yeah, I mean, they
all had their sins.
Yeah.
They all had their sins, and they all had. They made a point to explain the sins of almost everyone.
Right. No one's perfect. And this movie, like the movie, just like life, it's like it doesn't have a clear ending. It's just like it just went on. Preacher Boy grows up. He goes. He runs into this vampire again. They don't. There's no showdown. He doesn't kill the vampire. The vampire doesn't turn him. It's like they cross paths and they keep moving, just like life. I was blown away, guys. And I just, we could do an episode, I could do another hour on this movie. It was really, really rich. It's so layered. Ryan Coogler I'm just like unbelievably impressed with him. He's like one of the best directors we have right now.
More movies like this.
Please.
More original stories. Please. I am begging production companies.
Yeah.
The Prime Cut podcast.
Yes.
On Easter Sunday is begging for more original
on
shit.
Easters.
On Easters.
Man, it was
please.
Yeah, this is what we want to see. And I just hope they keep it in theaters long enough for people to go see it. I think it's doing really well. Everything I'm seeing, social media and everything, and people talking is like saying it's great and it's getting great, reviews. It's really, really, really good.
Michael B. got a win, dude.
He's good, man. He's good. There's still some times where I'm like, but that just maybe is my hang up. He was good. He was good.
You can't let it go.
My only hang up on this movie was that the blood was milky.
The blood was pretty milky.
Yeah. Man,
they even confused it with wine at one point.
My only hang up is that I want to see this movie without the vampires. I want Coogler to do like this time period.
You want a historical piece.
I was really, really like into how serious it was in the beginning. Just like the lifestyle and how terrible that life was. And it still is better than what it was for these people before that. I don't know. I would like to see more of that. I was really impressed with it. What, you got to get up?
All right, to watch The Last of Us.
So for the sake of keeping this as a prime cut slice, what did you rate this movie, Joe?
4.5.
Wow.
I thought it'd be higher.
It's not perfect, but it's really good.
All right, Mark.
4.8. Solid 4.8.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Mark. I was going to give it a 4.8 as well.
It's really, really good.
Solid.
If you haven't seen this, go see it
in IMAX.
Stay through for all the credits. The movie's beautiful on the big screen.
Yep. See it in IMAX. It's shot on IMAX, on film. It's great.
Beautiful. Huge win. Huge win for everyone.
Great value.
We all win. Great values. And returns on your ticket.
Okay.
Go watch it.
Look at the timekeeper.